So let's take a look. I wrote some sample, or not some sample, but some text that I'm hoping ChatGPT will be able to write us some regex code that may or may not work. So it's kind of an experiment. Last time we failed miserably. This time let's see if we can get any closer. So I said, please write me simple Python regex. I will capture any line that sometimes has something at the beginning, and always have two sets of 6-digit numbers, two sets of numbers that have a decimal with exactly 2 digits after the decimal, and sometimes commas, and a description at the end. There are sometimes various characters, digits, or just spaces before and after each of the things I want to capture. I'd like to capture the matching lines in a named tuple, invoice equals named tuple, and it's going to have invoice date, due date, invoice amount, net amount, and description. My list of strings is in a variable called lines. So that's a lot, but I have faith it will get something out to me. Let's see what it gives me and test it out. So here's a regex that should capture the desired information in each line. Here now it's repeating my named tuple definition, which is fun. And note, I'm not giving it any data to compare against. So maybe what I'll do is if it gets it wrong, I'll give it a couple of lines to say, all right, it looks like these lines didn't work. Can you help? But what's really cool is it's writing Python code that is going to function properly, likely. And it's really doing a great job of capturing my existing variable lines, and it's iterating through it as it should. So for line in lines, create a match, and if matched, and this is really important because if it doesn't do the if match and it just tries to process it, it's going to throw an error because it's not going to have the right number of match items. So this is cool. Let's see what happens, and it gives you a little explanation down below, but let's see what happens when I do this without. I'm actually going to overwrite this code because I don't need it anymore. And let's see what happens. And it didn't match anything, of course. So let's do a little debugging because that's kind of fun. Why does this have a P? P invoice date. Oh, that's really freaking cool. Okay, I think what this is doing is it's naming this invoice date. There's a thing you can do where you name it. You name these like variables within the regular expression. I've never tried that before, but that's pretty awesome. But it's still not capturing anything, which is a problem. So you've got the 6-digit invoice date with okay. So now it's just assuming we just have one or more space in between each of these. So that's not really correct. So I think what I might do just to like jerry rig this, let's just make this a dot star, or actually make it dot plus because we want more anything. So instead of one or more space, make it just one or more of anything. And then that looks right. Oh, they screwed this up. So this is supposed to be one or more digits, or it could be a decimal place. So you've got one more. Oh, actually, yeah, invoice amount doesn't have a decimal in there. You've got one or more digit, a comma. Where's the decimal? One and then 2 digits. Okay, yeah, what they should have done, so I'm going to fix this, should be that or a comma, and then a decimal, and then 2 digits. So let's see if I can fix this again here. And then invoice amount, it's going to be the same thing. And then again, instead of one or more spaces, I want one or more anything. And then description is dot star. So, but actually I know also there could be and I didn't even tell it, so it's not going to know this. It could be like a Y or an N or a space. So you know what, screw it. Let's just capture everything afterwards and call it description. Like, that's not really important. So let's just capture description as everything after that. And let's see if this works. This may capture something. Ooh, okay, we got something, but definitely not everything. Invoice date, that's not an invoice date because that's not a date, but that's a date. Amount. Ooh, but the amounts don't match. Okay, I screwed something up here. digit invoice amount. Digit, comma, plus digit, comma, plus. Weird, I did the same thing for those, but for some reason... Oh, yeah, okay, this is funny. Let's try that. Okay, so what I did there, this is really interesting. Because I looked for the dot plus in between, it's capturing literally everything until it finds a digit. But because this is what's called greedy, this is like a little regex lesson, greedy doesn't have the question mark. This means that this portion is going to capture literally everything until you get to this pattern. But if I add the question mark, I make it non-greedy, so it stops as soon as this one starts to kick in. And I actually messed up because I forgot to put in between this one and this amount, I forgot to change that space to a dot. So that was my mistake, but then I have to do the same thing, so a non-greedy dot. So let's see what happens again. It'll probably give me the same number of outputs. Ooh, got me more. Okay. So the invoice dates are still wrong here. And I know that the issue here is these invoice dates are supposed to be, it's picking up the invoice instead of the invoice dates. So I don't even remember how I captured that last time, but let's feed this back to GPT. This will be interesting. I'll say I fixed a couple bugs. I have this code, but it's still giving me a few issues. In a few lines, it is capturing an invoice, an additional 6-digit number that sometimes exists before the invoice date. But I want to ignore that additional 6-digit number in those lines. It only happens in some lines. Here's the code. So this is fun. This is where I can see if it can help me now fix the last error. And it hopefully, yes, it remembers the changes that I made, and it's not trying to correct them because it's assuming that I did those correctly. It uses an optional non-capturing group. Oh, freaking cool. Okay. So you can add another group, but it doesn't capture it, so it doesn't mess up the capturing components of it. And by the way, this is so cool that it created these variables within it. It makes this code so concise compared to how I've done it before from a regex perspective. So let's try this. Let's instead of deleting the first pattern, I'm just going to add to the pattern, so it just kind of overloads it, and this one no longer exists. That way I can go back to it if I need to, and I'm going to see if this now works. So I should hopefully capture the same number of items, but I want to capture the correct data in the invoice date, and let's see what happens. And it looks like I'm still capturing the incorrect data here. So that's problematic, but all the other stuff looks correct, which is really cool. So invoice amount, net amount, description, looks like it got what we needed. I'm curious if I got all the stuff that I'm looking for. I think what I could do is I can say, I can convert the net amounts to amounts and then see if it adds up to my total net amount bottom line of 22,436. I can also compare just a few of these individually. Let's eyeball it. 750, 750, 68.35, 750, 768, 35. Okay, that's good. That's promising. Let's keep going with this just for a few. See if I can get them to convert these to floats. That would be cool. Let's also see if we can figure out how to fix the date. Let's do the floats piece first so I can see if I'm at least capturing the right number of lines. Okay. Please revise the code. Actually, let's go back, because since we're on this one, and that's where ChatGPT was still on, I'm going to mention that didn't work. But I'm going to give it an example of one of the lines where it didn't work with. I'll say, that didn't work. Here's the line so you have some context, some better context. And let's just do lines. And I'm going to give it one of the ones that has the extra invoice number at the beginning. So I'm going to say this is one of the lines that it's showing the 312205 number instead of the 081822 number. Fix. I'll leave my misspelling in there because that's just kind of fun. Let me just confirm this, right? 312205. Oh, is it not capturing that one? Interesting. So the very, let's see, United Parcel Service. That one should have 75, 75, 75. And that one has 75, 75, 75. Oh, looks like it is correctly doing it there. So let's give it the United Parcel Service one, because that's the one where it's messing up. So, oh, interesting. So it's pulling it in as, oh, okay. I see the problem. It's correctly doing it when it's 6 digits exactly, but in the case where it is sometimes more than 6 digits, it's having a mistake. Okay, that didn't work. I realized it's because sometimes the number prior to the first date I want to capture is 7 digits, not always 6 digits. Can you fix? This should be an easy fix. Huh, so simple. 6, 7. Let's see if that works. This is pretty awesome. So 6, 7. And oh my goodness. Okay, almost everything's right. So that last one, the 402310, that one's probably like 8 digits or something silly. 402. Oh yeah, more. So maybe what we can just say is more than 7 or more than 6. 6 or more. I think that can just be 6 colon. Nope, that didn't work. Let's give it that one and say, give it the example, see if we can fix it. I'll say, I found another edge case where it's picking something up I don't want. In this line, it's picking up 402310 as the first date. It should be 081822. Oh, now it's getting extra fancy. That's okay. We'll see if we can get it to work now. Still exciting. I feel like that's like unnecessarily complex, because it's really just more than 6 digits. But let's see. Let's see if this gets us what we need. And if ChatGPT is still for the win, or if it breaks it. So I feel like sometimes it breaks it by mistake. It's looking promising. This is awesome. Okay, I think that works. So now, shall we push it a little bit and see if we can convert these dates into date times and these amounts into floats? Okay, now please convert the invoice date and due date items into date time, and converts the invoice amount and net amount into floats, and load this into a pandas data frame. Because that's what I'm going to do, but I'm going to ask it to do it for me. So this is awesome. Like, this is definitely further than we made the first time. And sure, we had to spoon feed it a little bit, but like, this looks like it's what we need, which is so awesome. Okay, so this is looking good. Okay, so this is assuming I've already written the other code above to like test out capturing it. This is now going to grab the data and turn it into a data frame after it converts the pieces into the formats that I told it to. And perfect, it replaced the comma with nothing, which is really an important step. It's converted these to date times. I have a feeling this might work. This is unnecessary, so I'm actually going to give it a feedback and say, instead of creating the data dictionary variable, couldn't we load these items into a list of named tuples using the invoice named tuple? Like, I like that, and let's see if it does it. Yes, you can use the invoice name tuple to store the converted data instead of a dictionary. I just think it looks nicer. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Okay, so let's see if this gives us what we need after I've converted it to a format that I prefer. And load this puppy up into a data frame and see if it adds up math-wise. This is exciting. ChatGPT, making things happen. Okay. That looks like perfect. For invoice and... Oh, you'd put it in a data frame. Nah, that's fine. I'll do it. Oh, okay. It did at the end. I was like, what? You forgot the last step, buddy. Okay, so copy code. I'm just going to copy it as is because I think that it should work. And I'm not going to do this because I don't need to do that. I'm just going to load up the data list. And then let's just read the df to screen. Let's see if this works. Oh my goodness, I hope so. Come on. You can do it. It's not very efficient, but that's okay. Oh man, this looks good. Holy hell. Look at this. No, only thing it's missing is the column names. And that's interesting because it should have brought it in if it was using the named tuples. So why did it not do that? I'm going to ask ChatGPT. I would have expected the data frame column names to use the named tuple item names. Why did that not work? I think it's because it did from records. I think if I just did this, it might work. So it gave one suggestion. It said use, yeah, my way worked, which is great. ChatGPT suggested a different way, but my way definitely works. So let's now just do the last piece of this test that we need, which is just make sure the numbers add up. So if I do df, I'm going to go to a new cell because I don't want to redo all that. So df dot invoice amount dot sum, and let's see if that adds up to our sum. 22,476, 30, 22,470. Oh my gosh, we win! We win! ChatGPT, you're awesome! Holy crap, guys! All right, I will chalk this up as a successful attempt to pull down a PDF file, can pull out the text, use ChatGPT to do all that, and then use ChatGPT as my co-pilot, as my assistant to write the regex needed to convert this multi-line complex set of data into a freaking pandas data frame and check that the math works. So hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want to see more of this stuff, subscribe and hit like on the video and come back and see the next one. Thank you.